In this video, we will be opening our first SYNCHRO 4D project and then getting familiar with the SYNCHRO Pro user interface. Once you have SYNCHRO Pro open, you can open your specific 4D project by going to File, Open, Private Project, and then navigating to the location of your file. If you're using the training documents, you can access all of the files you need from C, Users, Public Documents, Shared SYNCHRO Projects, Tutorial Files, and SYNCHRO Pro Training. In this case, we're going to go to the .sp files folder and then double-click on SYNCHRO Training Project. Alternatively, you could have just, before opening SYNCHRO, navigated to the location of the file and double-clicked on that file. Now that we have the file open, we can start getting familiar with the SYNCHRO Pro user interface. By default, we have some ribbons on top, some toolbars on the side, a 3D view at the center, and then a Gantt chart on top. Now this is an already linked 4D model, so we can scrub the focus time through the Gantt chart and see how the project gets built. We will learn more about navigating the 3D view and the Gantt chart in the coming videos, but let's talk about the toolbars and how to navigate the user interface now. The way the user interface is generally set up is that everything on the left side is general. For example, the 3D Objects tab will have all of the 3D objects in the entire model. The Resources tab will have all of the resources in the entire model. We'll talk more about this in the coming videos. And everything on the right side is specific. For example, the Resources Properties tab will have specific properties of the selected resources. For example, if I click on this element, then we'll see the specific properties of that element. And then the task properties will have specific properties of the selected task. If more than one tasks are selected, then it will show the properties in common. In addition, there are 3D view properties and 3D object properties. The ribbons on top will give us access to different features and functionalities that are grouped depending on what we're trying to achieve in a certain session. For example, in the Plan ribbon, we'll have all of the features that are related to planning, including rescheduling and some functionalities such as filters, where if I click on it, it'll open on the left side as a new tab. And I can keep that open or I can just close it when I'm not using it. But also, for example, if I'm doing a 4D review, where I also might be using task filters, this is still there. So these are not mutually exclusive, but the idea is that whatever you're trying to achieve in a session, you will be able to remain mostly inside of one ribbon. Now, the two most important ribbons we're going to cover here are the Windows ribbon and the Navigator ribbon. The Navigator ribbon will have all of the functionalities that open as a separate window, for example, appearance profiles, roles, and all of those features. And the Windows ribbon will have all of the extra windows you can open. For example, an EVA graph if you have cost-loaded schedules, a resource usage graph if you have a resource-loaded schedule, and even another 3D window if you want to compare different filters or different schedules, for example, a baseline versus an actual schedule. Now you can move these windows around by clicking on the name and either placing them on top of each other, which will create two different tabs, or placing them next to each other by using the gizmo that appears at the center and snapping to one of the sides. For example, I could snap here so that we'd have a 3D view next to the schedule. If you undock a 3D view, you can double click on the name and then it goes back to where it was last attached to. Before moving on to the next video, take some time to skim through the icons in the Windows ribbon and the Navigator ribbon. The icons in the Navigator ribbon will give you an idea of all of the features that are possible in SYNCHRO, and then the icons in the Windows ribbon will give you an idea of what you can display in SYNCHRO. Don't worry about messing the interface up. You can always go back to the default layout by going to Reset Layout in the Windows ribbon.